I was standing in my parents' kitchen when Mom slid the papers across the granite counter.
Her manicured nails tapped the top page. The sound echoed in the silence. "What is this?" I asked. "Formality stuff," she said, waving her hand.
"We sold your Portland house.
"The buyer needs your signature to finalize everything.
Just sign here, here, and here." The room tilted. Outside, I could hear my sister Emma squealing about her dress fitting. My father was on the phone in his office, probably talking to the caterer for the wedding that was 3 weeks away.
"You sold my house." "For Emma's wedding," Mom said brightly. "The venue deposit was $40,000. We needed liquidity."
"Your house equity was just sitting there.
"You're in Seattle now anyway."
You never even visit that property. I bought that house 5 years ago when I was 23. A small 1920s bungalow in inner southeast Portland.
I'd saved $45,000 for the down payment by working 3 jobs through college.
Spent 2 years renovating it myself, learned plumbing on YouTube, tiled the bathroom 7 times until I got it right, sanded floors until my hands bled.
I didn't agree to sell.
Mom's smile tightened. Well, the sale closed last week. We found a lovely couple. They paid $515,000. After paying off your mortgage and the realtor fees, there's about $260,000. We used $180,000 for the wedding.
The rest is in an account for Emma's house down payment."
My hands went cold.
"You forged my signature."
Don't be dramatic. We're family.
What's yours is ours. Besides, the money's going to good use. Emma's wedding is going to be spectacular.
Waterfront venue, band flown in from Nashville, ice sculpture. Where are the original closing documents?
Already filed with the county.
That's why we need you to sign these backdated papers. Just a formality to protect everyone legally.
The lawyer said it's fine. She pushed the papers closer. "Sign, sweetheart. Don't make this difficult." I picked up the papers. "Read them slowly."
They were backdated to 4 weeks ago.
Power of attorney forms, sales agreements, all with spaces for my signature.
The notary line was already filled in. A name I didn't recognize. "Who's Margaret Holloway?" "The notary." "She's a friend of your father's. Very accommodating. She notarized documents I never signed. She's
helping the family." Mom's voice sharpened. "Emma's wedding is in 3 weeks. Everything is paid for. Guests have booked flights."
You're going to ruin your sister's special day over paperwork?
I set the papers down carefully. My phone was in my pocket.
I needed to get out of this kitchen. I need time to think. There's no time. The buyers are getting anxious.
"Just sign." I said I need to think. I walked out before she could respond.
The pattern had been there for 28 years. This wasn't new. This was just the biggest theft yet. When I was 8, I saved my birthday money for 6 months to buy a handheld gaming system. $120. I'd counted it in my drawer every night.
The week I finally had enough, the money disappeared. Mom bought Emma a bicycle with it. She needed it more, Mom explained.
You're not as interested in outdoor activities? Emma was 5.
She abandoned the bike after 2 weeks.
At 13, I got a summer job mowing lawns. Made $800 by August.
Planned to buy a laptop for high school. The money vanished from my bank account, the one Mom had co-signed.
Family emergency, she said. The emergency was Emma's cheerleading camp in California.
$750 for the week. High school.
I worked 30 hours a week at a grocery store, saved $4,000 for community college. Applied for a state scholarship full ride.
Got it. Mom convinced me to give the $4,000 to Emma for her senior trip to Europe. You don't need it now. You have the scholarship. Emma deserves this experience. Emma posted 400 photos from Paris, Rome, and Barcelona.
I worked 40 hours a week while taking 18 credits. College. I graduated in 3 years with a degree in civil engineering. Moved to Portland. Emma went to a private liberal arts school. $55,000 yearly. Parents paid every cent. She changed majors 4 times, psychology, art history, marketing, finally communications.
Took 6 years to graduate.
Total cost, $330,000. I never asked for a dollar. At 23, I had $45,000 saved.
I bought the Portland house, a 900 square foot bungalow that needed everything. Roof leaked, floors sagged, kitchen was avocado green from 1974. It was mine. I spent 2 years fixing it. Watched hundreds of hours of YouTube tutorials. A retired contractor named Bill lived 3 doors down. 72, widowed, bored. He saw me struggling with the porch one Saturday. "You're doing it wrong," he said, walking over. "Let me show you."
Bill became my mentor.
Taught me framing, electrical, plumbing. We worked weekends.
He refused payment. I'm old. I'm bored. You're motivated. That's payment enough. Why help me?
I asked once, during a lunch break on the new deck we'd built. "Because you give a shit," he said simply.
Most people your age hire everything out or give up.
You're here with splinters in your hands learning to do it right. That's rare. The house transformed.
New roof, refinished floors, modern kitchen, bathroom with subway tile I'd installed myself. I learned I was good with my hands.
Good at solving structural problems.
My boss noticed, started putting me on complex projects. At 26, I got recruited by a Seattle firm.
Senior structural engineer. $98,000 salary. I kept the Portland house as a rental. Tenant paid $2,200 monthly.
My mortgage was $1,450. The extra income helped me save aggressively.
Emma,
meanwhile, lived in my parents' basement after college. Rent-free. For 3 years.
She worked part-time at a boutique for $15 hourly. Complained constantly about being broke while wearing $200 jeans my mother bought her. When Emma got engaged to Derek, a pharmaceutical sales rep she'd dated 8 months, the wedding planning consumed everything. Mom called me weekly with updates.
The venue is $40,000. Isn't that incredible?
The dress is $8,000. Custom designer. We're flying in a band from Nashville. $15,000.
I never asked what the total budget was.
Didn't want to know.
But each call ended the same way. We're so lucky we can do this for Emma. She deserves the perfect day. I never got a perfect day. I got a pizza party at a skating rink for my college graduation. 8 people showed up. Emma's graduation?
Catered dinner for 50 at a country club. I stopped expecting fairness.
Stopped hoping they'd see the imbalance. I just built my life in Seattle. Away from them. Visited twice a year out of obligation.
Kept my finances private. Apparently not private enough. I sat in my car in their driveway and called my real estate attorney in Portland. Jessica Wu. Sharp, thorough, had handled my house purchase and rental agreements. "Jessica, someone sold my Portland house without my consent." Silence. Then, "Explain." I told her everything. When I finished, she was quiet for 10 seconds. "That's real estate fraud," she said. "Felony level. Who has your IDs?
Passport? Driver's license? I keep everything in Seattle except...
I have a file cabinet in my parents' basement. Old documents, birth certificate, social security card. They had access to your identity documents.
That's how they did it. They forged signatures. Probably used your SSN. Created false identification.
The notary is complicit. She notarized documents without your presence. That's a separate crime. What do I do? You report it. Immediately. To Portland Police Bureau's Fraud Division and the FBI.
This is federal wire fraud if any electronic transfers were involved. Don't sign anything your parents give you. Don't discuss it with them further. Those backdated documents they want you to sign?
That's them trying to make you an accessory after the fact. Emma's wedding is in 3 weeks. That's not your problem. Your family committed fraud.
They stole $250,000 from you.
You report it, or you lose everything and possibly face charges yourself for signing false documents. I called Portland Police Fraud Division from the car.
Detective Sarah Morrison answered. I explained the situation. She took detailed notes.
Can you come to Portland tomorrow? She asked.
Yes.
Bring every document you have.
Property records, mortgage statements, emails, text messages. We'll need to interview you formally. This is serious, Mr. Chen. Real estate fraud with family members is more common than people think. But it's still fraud. I drove back to Seattle. 7 hours of I-5 with my thoughts. By the time I reached my apartment, I knew what was coming. The explosion. The accusations.
The family choosing Emma over justice. I didn't care anymore.
They'd crossed a line that couldn't be uncrossed. The next morning, I drove back to Portland.
Met Detective Morrison at the precinct. She was 40-something, kind eyes, but her questions were sharp.
Walk me through the timeline.
I did. She took notes for 90 minutes. Here's what happens next, she said. We'll verify the forgery with handwriting analysis.
We'll interview the notary. Margaret Holloway's license will be revoked, and she faced charges. We'll interview the title company, the realtor, the buyers. If the buyers were innocent, if they didn't know about the fraud, the sale will be voided.
You'll get your house back.
If they were complicit, they face charges too. What about my parents? Wire fraud, forgery, identity theft, conspiracy to commit fraud. Your father likely orchestrated this if he knew the notary. Your mother participated. Both are culpable. These are felonies.
They're looking at 5 to 10 years if convicted,
depending on their criminal history. They don't have one. They're respected in their community. Dad's a retired accountant. Mom volunteers at the hospital. That doesn't matter. The law is the law. She leaned forward. Mr. Chen, I need to be clear. Once we start this investigation, it moves forward regardless of your feelings.
If you want to protect your family, now's the time to say so.
I thought about the bike, the laptop money,
the college fund.
28 years of being told to sacrifice for Emma. 28 years of being called selfish when I wanted to keep what I'd earned.
Start the investigation, I said.
It took 12 days.
Handwriting analysis confirmed forgery.
Margaret Holloway confessed within 30 minutes of questioning, said my father paid her $5,000 to notarize false documents. The title company had flags in their system they'd ignored because my father was a longtime client. The buyers were innocent. They'd worked with a realtor who'd worked with my father. Detective Morrison called on a Thursday afternoon. We have enough for arrests. We're coordinating with the district attorney. The timing is... Your sister's wedding is this Saturday. I know. We can wait until Monday if you want. I thought about Emma, who'd remained silent about everything she'd received. Who'd never once said that's not fair when I got nothing. Who'd watched me work 3 jobs and never offered to contribute $1 to family expenses. Don't wait, I said. The wedding was at a waterfront venue in Lake Oswego.
200 guests.
I wasn't invited. Mom said they'd run out of space, which was laughable for a venue that held 250. The ceremony was scheduled for 4 p.m., according to Emma's Instagram, which I'd checked one final time.
The venue looked spectacular.
White roses everywhere, string quartet, sunset views of the lake. Detective Morrison called me at 3:30 p.m. We're moving in. Officers are en route. Are you sure about this?
Unsure.
At 3:47 p.m., according to the police report I'd eventually read, 4 detectives and 6 officers arrived at the venue.
They waited until the ceremony ended.
Didn't want to interrupt vows, Morrison told me later. Professional courtesy. The reception had just started. First dance was finishing. Emma and Derek were on the dance floor.
200 guests watching. Phones recording.
The band was playing at last. The detectives walked in. They approached my parents' table. Mom saw them first. Her face went white. Dad stood up. Said something. The detective showed the warrant. The music stopped. Everyone turned. Phones stayed up, but now they were recording something different. Michael Chen, Linda Chen, you're under arrest for real estate fraud, forgery, identity theft, and conspiracy to commit wire fraud. The details came from guests who posted on social media. Video surfaced shaky phone footage of my mother crying, my father arguing, the detectives calmly reading rights. Emma screaming, "What's happening?" Derek trying to pull her away. Bridesmaids frozen in their seafoam green dresses.
My parents were let out in handcuffs. Past the ice sculpture. Past the $8,000 dress. Past the Nashville band. Into police cars while 200 guests watched in silence. The wedding ended at 4:23 p.m. Venue staff started cleanup at 5 p.m. Guests left in confused clusters. Social media exploded. My phone rang 60 times that evening. All family. All blocked numbers now. The voicemails were vicious. Uncle Terry. You ruined your sister's wedding, you selfish bastard. Aunt Marie. Over a house? You destroyed this family over money? Emma, sobbing. I hate you. I will never forgive you. You're dead to me. I listened to none of them all the way through. Deleted them all. The legal process moved quickly. My parents posted bail $50,000 each, which they had to borrow from retirement accounts. The day offered a plea deal. Plead guilty to fraud. Repay the $180,000. Serve 100 hours community service, 5 years probation. Or go to trial and risk 5 to 10 years in prison. They took the plea. Didn't have a choice. The evidence was overwhelming. Margaret Holloway lost her notary license and got 6 months in county jail. The title company faced a $250,000 fine from the state. The house sale was voided. I got my property back. The innocent buyers were compensated from the title company's insurance. I sent them an apology letter. They responded graciously, said they understood, hoped my family situation improved. It wouldn't. The $180,000 my parents had to repay? They didn't have it. The wedding had consumed it. They took out a second mortgage on their house. Borrowed from their retirement accounts, taking massive tax penalties. Sold Dad's vintage car collection. Mom's jewelry. They'd spent years building a comfortable retirement. Gone in 3 weeks. Emma and Derek's marriage lasted 14 months. The fraud scandal followed them. Derek's family was mortified. His parents were prominent in Portland society. The shame was too much. He filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. Really, it was that Emma couldn't escape being the girl whose parents stole from her brother to fund her wedding. Emma moved back in with my parents. At 26, she was back in that basement bedroom. Working retail because no marketing firms would hire someone whose family was known for fraud. My parents aged 10 years in 6 months. Dad's hair went completely white. Mom stopped volunteering. Couldn't face the people who'd heard about the arrest. They tried calling me exactly once. Mom's voice was small. We're sorry. You didn't think it was real, I said. You thought my house, my money, my life was just resources for Emma. You never thought of me as separate from the family bank account. We made a mistake. No, you made a choice. You chose to forge documents, to steal from me, to commit felony fraud. Those aren't mistakes. Those are crimes. You got arrested at Emma's wedding because you committed crimes. Can we fix this? You want me to help you now? After you stole $280,000 from me? Silence. I have nothing to say to you. Don't call again. I blocked the number. Haven't spoken to them since. That was 18 months ago. I'm 30 now, still in Seattle. Still working as a senior structural engineer. My Portland house has a new tenant, a school teacher who pays on time and takes care of the garden Bill and I planted. Bill died last year. Peaceful, in his sleep. He left me his tools in his will. For the kid who gave a shit, the note said. The tools are in my garage. I use them on weekends for small projects. It helps me think. I met someone. Her name is Aina. She's a prosecutor, ironically. We met at a coffee shop. She knows my story. Respects the boundaries I set. Doesn't push me to reconcile with my family. Forgiveness is optional, she said once. It's not required for healing. You can heal and still maintain boundaries. I think about the wedding sometimes. The image of my parents being arrested while Emma's first dance played. It feels like a movie, unreal, but the court documents in my file cabinet prove it happened. I don't feel guilty. I've waited for guilt.
Thought it might come in the middle of the night or during holidays. It hasn't. What I feel is lighter. Like I've been carrying a weight since I was 8 years old and someone finally took it off my shoulders. My family made a choice when I was 8 and they took my gaming system money. They made that same choice for 20 years. The house was just the biggest version of a pattern that had always been there. I didn't ruin Emma's wedding. They did, by being people who would steal from their own son. By being people who valued a party over basic decency. By being people who thought family meant unlimited access to my life, my money, my property without consent. This morning, I'm sitting in my Seattle apartment, coffee steaming. Rain on the windows. The city is waking up. Anna's asleep in the bedroom. I have plans to look at a property this afternoon, a small cabin outside the city that needs renovation. Bill's tools are ready. My phone is quiet. No voicemails. No angry texts. No family demanding pieces of me. I built a life that's mine. Not borrowed. Not stolen. Mine. And I'll protect it with every legal tool available. Because that's what you do when you've spent 28 years learning that family doesn't mean safety. It means vigilance. If you've ever had family members treat your boundaries like suggestions and your assets like communal property, I see you. You don't owe anyone access to your life just because you share DNA. Protect yourself. Document everything. And when they cross the line from manipulation to crime, you call the police. Share your story, you're not alone. Subscribe for more.